What up, fam? Welcome back. Glad you can join me today. I did wait for the last portion of the day to film. I wish I had done it on my lunch break, but I was going through a difficult time trying to figure out what I wanted to speak about today in reference to today's readings, because one thing that I'm trying to focus on is sticking to one point, because it's obvious that when I try to cover multiple different points, my videos tend to be longer and I tend to ramble on just a little bit more, and I'm trying to cut that out. One thing that I notice about music artists is that in their songs, they're able to cover so much, meaningful music. They're able to cover a lot in those 3 to 4 minutes, and it's like, if music artists are able to convey a meaningful message in 3 to 4 minutes, the same should be here. If this is going to be a long-term thing, the things that I want to say or the things that need to be said will come up sooner or later. It doesn't have to be right now like I kind of want it to be sometimes. In today's video, I wanted to focus on something that I think would pose as a contradiction to those who noticed something about yesterday's reading and today's readings. Yesterday's gospel was about Zechariah being visited by an angel and being told that he was going to be the father of John the Baptist. And John answered with, how can this be? I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then we read today's readings, which is the same as, I think, December 8th, which was the solemnity. And it's Mary saying yes to God's plan. The angel came to her also and asked if she would be the mother of God. And she also responded with, how can this be? But she was pretty much exalted, whereas Zechariah yesterday was punished. So it's like, well, it seems like a contradiction. This is not a reason to, have disbelief. This is a reason to dig deeper and find out, what's the meaning? It's up to us to be curious enough. And when we have questions like this, to find the answers to them so that we can remove those stumbling blocks on our journey into relationship with Jesus Christ. To address yesterday's reading and today's reading, there are so many different ways that we can say, how can this be? When we read the Bible, it's very one-dimensional. There's no tone. It's just like when we text message each other. There's no tone, so there can be a lot of miscommunication. I can take something offensively when someone says this, but they meant it jokingly and, lightheartedly. If we were to have talked to that person and they were to have said it in person, we would have been able to pick up on the tone and the manner in which they said it. But when we read something like a text message or the Gospels or the Bible, it's very one-dimensional. Luckily, we have the Catholic Church, the 2,000-year-old Catholic Church, that has interpreted already the context of, what's said in the Bible. And I will leave a link in the description box below to a very good source, catholicanswers.com, or I think it could be .org. But basically they have magazine articles, they have videos of very common questions that pertain to the faith. So check that out whenever you're reading and have questions about the faith. So the reason why Zechariah was punished was because the way he said it implied disbelief, as if God couldn't do what the angel said he was going to do. Or, I'm too old for this now. He was in his later years and Elizabeth had been barren. And, maybe those prayers were so long ago that it was just like, I've accepted this already and just kind of let me be. But we have to understand, Zechariah was in the temple, burning incense. That's the one place, when we're in church, that's probably the one place where we should be receiving God's message or be receptive to God's message. But not only was he not receptive of the message, he was in disbelief. Whereas Mary, when she responded with, "How could this be?" it was more in awe, in amazement that God could perform this miracle. That's what I love about, honestly, about the reflections on the Laudate app, is that it brings so much context to what I'm reading, because otherwise I wouldn't have known. I would have just read it as is and been like, well, how come, Zechariah gets punished and Mary doesn't? And just kind of left it at that. But then once you read on and you read into the things that's been revealed to us, then it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And now I can move forward in my faith journey. When we encounter things like this in the Bible, things that pose as stumbling blocks, we need to dig deep and we need to find an answer that satisfies us and that allows us to continue on our faith journey into relationship with Jesus Christ. We always need to, what's our motto? Move forward, not back. And that's the point that I wanted to make for today's video. I hope it was clear enough for you to understand. I hope I said it in a way that you can understand it. I hope I understand it enough to convey the message in the first place. But if you guys ever have any questions about what we read in the daily Gospels, feel free to comment them down below. Or if you want to go ahead and look it up by yourself, but always remember to look at credible sources. There are a lot of sources out there, and when you Google things, the most popular will come up, and that's not always a credible source. I have done a lot of research myself. The one source that I would recommend to people is Catholic Answers website, because they have so much to offer. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. I will see you tomorrow. Always remember, always forward, never back, no slack. Love you, fam. Peace. All right. So I just said something that made you...
Something you said just made me think about this Daniel Tiger episode I saw today with the kids. A brand new one I'd never seen. So Daniel was playing with Margaret, the little sister, and she's older now, probably around, 2 or toddler age. And they have betta fish, or they have fish. And then they have 3, a red one, a green one, or a blue one or something. And the blue one dies. The fish dies. I'm like, oh, it caught my attention because I was like, oh, they really are attacking some real life things people have to deal with. Right. And how do you introduce that to your kid? So there's a song, and I don't remember what the song is, but it basically says when something is happening, it's okay to ask questions. That's how the dad taught Daniel to deal with the emotions of him being sad that his bluefish died. You're saying you gotta ask questions, So he was like, I'm really am I gonna be able to play with my bluefish anymore? And then the dad was like, no, I'm sorry, he's not gonna be able to play anymore. And then Daniel's like, am I ever gonna see bluefish again? And then the dad's like, no, he's dead. And I'm just like, oh, he went there. He just said, he's dead, I'm sorry. You're not gonna be able to see him again. And then Daniel, the little sister started to play with him. And he wasn't sure if he should stop being sad and play, because he felt like he's supposed to be sad. Mm-hmm. For his fish. But then the little sister was like, come on, play hide and seek with me. And so he stopped and asked the dad or mom, is it okay if I play with my sister? Because I feel like I'm supposed to be sad still, because I really am still sad. Mm-hmm. And they're like, it's okay, sometimes it's okay to be sad, sometimes it's okay to be happy. It was deep.
Wow. Good old Daniel Tiger.
Good old Daniel Tiger.
What were you gonna say?
That's kind of my
story.